rainy day in the Bronx. Gross. So gross. It was actually 52 degrees and sunny yesterday. It was so beautiful. And I was off. I was off, living my best life. And they're gonna do me like this today, but not to fret. I keep telling myself, don't fret, because spring is upon us. And I honestly can't believe how quickly February has come and gone. It's like it never even happened. I'm here for this. I'm here for this, because it also kind of like makes me realize like how quickly time does pass by. Like we're already in the 3rd month of 2020. It's like, get your ish together. That's how it really makes me feel. I'm ranting. Asia Mac, I'm back. Episode 7 of It Was Written, a Project, Part 3 of the Love to Answer series, you guys. You already know what to do. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do so, as well as hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time a new video is uploaded, which of course is every single Wednesday. All right, my beautiful people, before I get started with this episode, I just want to say something really quick, if you don't mind. Is this in the shot? Dang. Oh well. I mean, ice cream again, whatever. And the plastic knife. Yeah. I don't usually do this. And by this, I mean eat with plasticware. Care about the environment, you guys. So as you guys know, I mentioned this in my very first episode, that this project in this channel is actually an act of obedience for myself. And it was designed to inspire others, aka you, to embrace vulnerability and share your own story. And that starts with me. Obviously, that is the reason why I am here. But I'm not totally sure if I'm like rising to that challenge or not. And that is why your input and your help is so necessary, you guys. I've actually had quite a few people reach out to me outside of this channel to show their support, to show their love, to share their stories, and I love it. I love it. I really, really appreciate you. And I just want to ask that, in addition, you do that here as well. This is the platform to share your story. This is the platform for your testimony to inspire others, for you to uplift and be uplifted, to encourage someone that might be going through the same thing that you are going through. My stories, my lessons are my own, but I know that I'm not alone in any of the stories that I share. And for anyone who has gone through something similar, I'm sure throughout your journey, you've picked up some little gems, some little nuggets that I personally didn't pick up, and that I may be able to use, that another person may be able to use. So keep in mind that this platform is about unity, and that we are all one. We're not in this alone. So I encourage you guys to please share. Please, please, please share your testimonies and your stories on this channel. All right, so with that out the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the bloopers from last week. Dog, I was having such a rough time last week, and it showed, right? It definitely showed. Last week was a trip, but I was mostly, I think, just bummed because I wasn't gonna have anything to present to you guys. I wasn't gonna have a video for you guys last week, but I think it all worked out. I'm definitely showing up much better today, and the whole new scenery, it's a little plain Jane. It's very plain Jane, who am I kidding? But whatever, it's quiet, and it's definitely needed after the events of last week. When I get back to Detroit, actually, when I get home, I'm gonna build like a little studio for myself, like a makeshift studio, which I'm really actually excited about. I'm gonna have like a little DIY project. But it feels good to be here though. It feels really good to be here, and I must say, I am truly enjoying just this, everything about this. And it surprisingly becomes something that feels and comes so naturally for me. I mean, I guess it would. It is my story. I guess it would. But I just mean like the sharing of it and like the creative aspect of it. It is so freeing, so freeing. And it just feels like me. I don't know if that. Have you ever had like a conscious moment of like, wow, I feel like myself? I'm having that currently, which suggests that maybe I don't always feel like me. And that might sound silly to some of you, because you maybe feel like, you know, you always feel like you, but not me, I guess. And it's really funny because I didn't even really realize that until I started diving into this project. Okay, so episode 1, I mentioned that this project is also a creative project for me. Episode 2 is when I talked about it being an act of obedience. Binge watch all my episodes, just watch them all. Clearly don't know when I said what, but yes, this project is also a creative project as well as a much needed outlet for me. I really needed something to pour myself into. And I thought about this the other day that, wow, this is actually something that I've always prayed for. I've always prayed for creative expression. In prayer, and I still do, actually, I thank God in advance for the opportunity to express myself creatively. And I've been praying this for years. Don't know why, because I didn't even know what it meant, to be completely honest. Or maybe I did in the beginning and kind of like lost sight of it, but I mean, I definitely wasn't aware of any like gift or talent that I possessed. But I prayed. I said, you know, thank you, Father God, for the opportunity to live, to love, to learn, to meet new people, to explore new possibilities, to embark on new opportunities, to accept new responsibilities, and most importantly, to find and express myself creatively. Most importantly. So this is how I've been beginning my daily prayer for years. And I'm just now wondering, how did I know to say that? You know, like, how did I know to pray that? Because at the time, like, I wasn't well rooted in the word at all. Like, I had no idea what God had to say about our spiritual gifts. But the seed was planted and it was of importance to me. It also recently occurred to me how long I've been praying this, just really kind of like reciting it by memory. Nobody probably wants to admit something like that. Like when we pray, sometimes we have our prayers memorized and we can just say it without even thinking. Almost like singing a song. I don't know how many times I've been in the car, just in my zone, driving, singing, and then becoming aware that like a song is over and I'm like, did I really just sing that whole, like I don't even remember saying the words. So similarly, been praying that prayer for years. And just recently, as things begin to like shift in my life, I specifically wrote down what I was praying in expectation for now. And, you know, even though I knew, I guess subconsciously, that I was saying that, when I like said it with the conscious mind, when I wrote it down and I saw it, I was like, hold up, I've been asking for this long. Number one, did I just manifest this? Like mad geek. And number two, there's no wonder why like this feels so much like me. You know what I mean? And throughout my journey, throughout my walk, it's become apparent to me that, you know, the ability and the freedom to express ourselves creatively is huge. I believe it's something that's truly important for everyone, and it's something that we should be intentional about identifying and exploring. Which, speaking of exploring, we are still in the Love is the Answer series, a week late, but still here. And today's episode is, of course, all about love, but more specifically, we are talking about the love of the journey. So I feel like it's about to get real. This area, this is the part of my story that I've probably been most enlightened. This is like my forever story, you know what I mean? And for a long time, I didn't even know that I was on a journey. I hope I don't get teary. Because in person, like whenever I talk about my journey, it's now accompanied by my why and my purpose, which is not something that I could always identify. So I get really emotional, and I hate it, but I can't not, because, you know, the journey is the part of my story that I love the most. Because it's never ending, you know what I mean? Because the journey is life. The journey is life, which means I'm forever on this thing, you know what I mean? Until I'm not, obviously, but, you know, as long as I'm living, as I continue to live, as I continue to progress, as I continue to move forward in it, I'm constantly being enlightened, getting life's little gems, stumbling across little nuggets. I begin asking the right questions, and all of a sudden now I understand, you know, what this means. Now I understand why I had to go through that. And it's such an amazing experience because it changes you. Once you learn to embrace it, you know, it preps you for what's to come. Listen, there is absolutely a reason why I can rest in the face of adversity now, whereas 5 years ago it would have shown up as complete and utter worry. You know what I mean? There's a reason why, not even maybe, There's a reason why I experienced something with a guy years ago, and I couldn't even control my emotions. I was a crazy person. And then years later, I experienced something similar, and cool as the island went. I had to go through some things. I had to experience some things, sometimes more than once, sometimes more than twice. Oh, and I actually have a great story about that. I'll save that one for later. Something that I'm actually currently going through. Haven't quite figured this one out. But my point is, we lap around a lot in life. I experience something over and over and over. This has happened to me more times than I would have liked. And there's actually two scenarios when it comes to this, maybe even more. But the first being, having this happen and you're like, damn, didn't I just go through this? And this is the time when you think that you figured the thing out. You feel like your self-awareness is on 10. And then life throws that thing back at you just to see if you caught it. You didn't. Just to see if you're gonna do it again. You are. Precisely the reason why we have to lap around more than once, sometimes more than twice. But that's an episode in the story for another day, trust me. But the second scenario is actually the one that I'm in currently, and that's when you're feeling like, I am tired. I am so tired of just being in this space. You don't have it figured out. You don't think you have it figured out. The issue is you don't know how to figure it out. You don't know the route. You don't know how to get off. You don't know where to get off, and it is frustrating. It's frustrating because we don't lap around until we get it. But I think once you have that understanding, you become just a little bit more determined. You know those little roundabouts in the road? We have them in Michigan. I don't know if they have them here in New York. Definitely not in the city, maybe upstate. But that is what life sometimes looks like. That is what this scenario looks like. And if you think about it in the natural, it actually looks very silly. Like, you gotta veer, or you're just gonna be going around in that circle, right? You do know that. Like, we would never do that naturally. I mean, even if you didn't know what exit was the right one, wouldn't you just take an exit? In the natural, like, it beats going nowhere. And at the very least, you'll find out, okay, this wasn't the right way. Or if you're smart, maybe you'll get out and ask for help. I don't know, me personally, I'm only gonna drive past that Sunoco one too many times before I go to it and say, hey, I'm lost, can you help me? Spiritually though, that makes no sense. Why? And that's really where I am right now. Tired. So tired that I had to ask for guidance, and ask for direction, real direction, not the direction that's like, what do you want me to do, but I'm still gonna do my own thing. Hands up, surrender, what do you want me to do, guidance. And I learned that I got to this point from being in that roundabout. And that really is the beauty in it all for me, the process. I'm either learning something new or I get an opportunity to apply something that I've learned. And that just comes from the experience. Like, there's no telling what I have to look forward to now that I've veered. And I just said that I would talk about this later, but this is happening to me now. This is my story in real time. Like I said, in the natural, if I were actually driving, I would never pass the same street or pass the same gas station more than once before I stopped and said, okay, something must be wrong. And I guess I'm just now tired of passing that Sunoco. I'm veering off now, and I'm actually gonna stop, and I'm gonna go inside, and I'm gonna ask for help now. This is my real time story. And I love that I'm gonna have this experience to pocket. I don't dwell in the past, but I do sometimes keep things in my back pocket, so I'll have that lesson learned readily available if I'm ever experiencing something similar. And in the future, if I'm ever in or experiencing the unknown, I hope I have a great story. I hope I have a great experience. I hope I have a great lesson to, be able to guide me through that. And you guys know that I am no stranger to doing time. time in the wilderness, that is. You can ask my family, you can ask my friends. I'm like very, very seasoned in the wilderness. So my wilderness season started back in late 2014, early 2015. That is how long I've been in that roundabout. And I didn't know anything about a journey or wilderness. I just thought that I was having bad luck, really bad luck. I didn't realize it was something that I was going through or about to go through. I just thought it was something that was happening to me, that, you know, basically life is happening to me, so let me figure out how to fix it. That was my thought process. I didn't realize it was the beginning stages of something bigger, that it was serving as like the making of who I was becoming and who I was like being called. Who I was being called, you know, to be. I get super emotional because I have, you know, yet to talk about everything that I've, you know, experienced, you know, especially like in those beginning stages. And my gratitude is just like on 10. My gratitude is at an all-time high because I look back on those things and I get it. I look back on those things and I get it. I understand, you know, now why I had to go through all of that. Whew. All right, guys, so I had to like get myself together just really quick. I don't know if you realize that this is day 2 of me recording because it got so dark yesterday. I know you saw like the difference in lighting. Yeah, so it got dark, so I had to record a second day. I know I said, I hope I don't get teary, but I didn't realize I wasn't expecting all that. But as I was saying, that late 2014, early 2015, though, that was the beginning. That was the beginning stages, that was the prepping, because it was also in early 2015 that I began journaling again as an outlet to everything that was happening to me. And I was praying that prayer about creative expression, not knowing exactly what I was praying for. But God put a pen in my hand and He began prepping me. He began prepping me for just that, you know, little did I know. He took me up, down, left, right, high, low, humbled me to the ground just to give me my story, which we all have a story, but I was made specifically to chronicle mine. And to eventually share it. Legitimately, every single thing I went through and am going through currently, good, bad, ugly, my thoughts, my dreams, my desires, my triumphs, my failures, I wrote it and I'm writing it. And every single thing I believe in my entire being with a full heart that it was and is purposed for what God has planned for me. My prayer about creative expression, I'm doing exactly that now. But I remember when I had no idea what it meant, I had no idea what it looked like. If I didn't move to New York in 2014, and back then I was on a different roundabout, and that move was me veering. But if I hadn't done that, I don't even know if I would have picked back up a pen. Because prior to, I had stopped writing for a little while. I was actually doing this. I was actually like vlogging I had like a video journal. I look back on it now and it's like, it's so clear to me. And I'm like, God, I see what you did there and thank you. It was rough, but I see where I had to be. I've been able to reach into my back pocket, you know, and recall the experience, grasp the lesson. And now that I've seen that, this new prayer, the one that I tweaked, there's something specific that I've been praying for, that I've been in expectation for, that I've been, asking for guidance for. And I'm almost positive that this project is the catalyst to that. So I'm open, I'm not resisting, I'm surrendering, and I'm choosing to be led. I'm embracing the unknown. My journey thus far has taught me that. It's given me that confidence, and it's given me that trust. All right, you guys, so I feel like this is where I should stop. I feel like I've said enough for an episode. I actually have more to say. Didn't realize this episode was going to be this long, but I think I'm going to make a part 2, because there's more that I want to talk about, specifically being how I've grown over the years spiritually. I would be completely remiss if I didn't speak on that. My relationship with God, the heightening of my faith, and if you're not interested now, you will be later. You can trust me on that. Quote me on that. But I guess until next time, I'm gonna leave you guys with a couple of quotes from early 2015. I really want you guys to kind of get a feel of where I was in that point in my life, and then obviously inspired scripture. I had a good time sharing this story. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it has inspired you. I hope that it has been a blessing to you. And if it has been, don't forget to share. Please do not forget to share. I'll be back next week with part 2. Thank you so much for watching, guys.